Hey homeschoolers, I'm Melissa Webb, former full-time classroom teacher and homeschool mom turned full-time business CEO. I am determined and dedicated to helping you in this journey that you're on. So if you are looking for a place to be encouraged and inspired, you have found the perfect podcast. Homeschooling is a work of heart is truly the perfect place to start. So welcome. Let's jump in.
Hello, friend. I hope you are doing well and staying healthy and enjoying the fall season. I've been thinking back to when our kids were little and we would pack picnics and head to apple orchards, pumpkin patches, you name it. We'd go with big groups of friends. So fun taking pictures of the kids on the haystacks and on the tractors and running through the mazes. And now those same boys that are not so little anymore go with their wives or girlfriends and take the cutest pictures. I just can't help but smile. I'm watching this new season of their lives unfold, and I love it. Speaking of watching things, I'm so curious. Do you have a favorite movie or favorite movies, like your top three? Most of us do, although I will say, if you are currently in the throes of parenting, your favorite movies right now are likely Disney, Pixar, DreamWorks, those kinds of productions. But hey, if you could go back to pre-kid days, what movies made a lasting impression? I really hope you share with me. I really love to know. What are some of the best movies of all time? Now, you may think that the title of this week's podcast has something to do with the historical drama film Braveheart. That was put out, in the 1990s, and it was about the 13th century Scottish warrior William Wallace, who was played by Mel Gibson. Such a great movie. Remember the whole fight for Scottish independence from England. Anyway, great movie. But no, that is not what this episode is about. Brave hearts, I have as two separate words, and it's just something I've been thinking about. And I just wanted to share it and get you to potentially think about it as well. And we could always continue the discussion. So I journal a list of gratitudes nearly every day. I try to do it every single day. Sometimes I don't always write it out. Sometimes I just think it in my head. But one of the things that I was realizing recently is how often a person pops into my mind when I list things for which I'm grateful. Now, sure, there are things for which I'm grateful. I'm very grateful for a home, a roof over my head, a soft pillow at night. The things are great. So are experiences and opportunities. I'm grateful for so many wonderful opportunities. But what I was noticing is that the nearest and dearest things for which I'm grateful are not things at all. They are people. And what I noticed is that those people who have tremendously impacted me are the brave hearts that I know and love, which this is just something I came up with. They are my brave hearts. So let me give you a couple examples. I have a friend, Amy, who this year has battled breast cancer, and she's just amazed me. And whenever we've talked or visited, she always has had this beautiful God moment that she's excited to share with me. She smiles and she lights up. I will tell you one of my favorites. She was telling me how in the beginning of this journey, which is not to say she hasn't also shared moments that she was scared. It's all normal. But at the same time, she was like, guess what? You are not going to believe it. Do you know how my first chemo nurse's name was Faith? And I remembered, oh, yes, that was great. She's like, of course your name is Faith, because that's exactly what I need right now. Well, her post-surgery nurse, after she had her double mastectomy, this woman who walks in, who's just bright and beautiful, and tells her, gosh, you were amazing. Everything went great. I'm really happy for you. You're going to just do stupor. She asked that nurse's name as well. And she said, oh, my name, yes, it's Grace. Amy said, isn't that beautiful? My journey 10 months ago started with faith, and now post surgery has concluded with grace. And we smiled, we laughed. We just love that sort of thing. Now, of course, her journey isn't quite over. And she texted me and she said, guess where they're sending me for the next part of what I need to do? Yes, Hope Hospital. And she's very confident that she'll meet another nurse or doctor by the name of Joy. I listen to her, I spend time with her, and I just think to myself, oh, her sweet, brave heart. Okay, I'll share another story of what I mean by this beautiful, brave heart concept. This one, I'll be amazed if I get through without shedding a tear or two, so just stick with me. Last year, at the very end of the year, in December, it was the last month of last year. It was just a couple of weeks before my soon-to-be daughter-in-law was going to marry our son on New Year's Eve. And a couple of weeks before that event, her father unexpectedly passed away. And I mean, sit with that for a second. Can you even imagine any of you who are listening right now who have a close relationship with your father like she did? You can just imagine not having your father walk you down the aisle. I mean, it just tears at my heart still today. Like it's just always going to choke me up. Because here we all were. We were just so excited for the wedding. And it was happening here at our home on our property. And we just had lights galore and everything was coming together. We were also wrapped up in the beauty of the holiday season. And then, without any warning, we were just puddles on the ground. And I will just tell you that life does not prepare you for this kind of heartbreak. We all had to take a step back and assure our daughter-in-law that whatever she wanted to do, did we need to postpone? You bet. Do you want to continue on? You bet. It's whatever she needed to do. My son and all of us just stood by her. And we watched. We watched her. The pain was excruciating. Nobody could fix it. And that is such a helpless feeling. She was so vulnerable. She was so heartbroken and she was so confused because this was one of the most exciting things and times that had ever come to her in her life, her wedding day. And at the same time, she was devastated. All the things you can imagine it. Anyone who has loved her father as she did would certainly understand and have empathy for what she experienced. She took her time to think and to pray about what she should do. And it took time, and we all were just patient. We waited, we watched. Eventually, she came to us. We just kind of all kept going with, imagine it's happening. We're going to just keep going forward with that. She hasn't told us to stop. We wanted just to be ready. It was actually such a blessing that it was right here at our home. It made it easy that if things needed to change, we could. But she came to us and said, I want the wedding to continue. In fact, she had had a moment and she realized her dad would be so disappointed if she canceled it because he was excited for her dream wedding day. She and our son have been dating for 6, almost 7 years at this point. And all he wanted was to be a part of that special day. So to cancel it, she knew that's not what he would have wanted for her. And that sealed the deal. We stepped in and we made it happen. And I will tell you, she stepped up and into such a difficult space. It didn't make it easier on her once she made that decision. She was happy and heartbroken all at the same time. And we watched her. Ah, and I will tell you that she taught me so much. She showed me how to be authentic while grieving and how to be grateful for what we do have in the moment that we have it. And I will tell you, the wedding was beautiful. It was so beautiful. And it was so honoring to her father. It was so dignified. I also will say that that event, that whole experience, made things much more precious and completely unforgettable because of her circumstances. It will go down as probably the most impactful wedding I've ever experienced. And I remember just watching her and admiring her and being so proud of her and her sweet, brave heart. Every morning I read a Bible scripture. I have a Bible app on my phone, and I just like to meditate on the scripture and what its meaning is in my life. And today it was Romans 12:12. And that verse is be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Now, I don't know what everybody's faith is who happens to listen, but I believe almost all of us have something bigger than us in our lives. For me, that is God. And a verse like this really speaks to me. As I was thinking about it this morning, drinking my coffee, this epiphany happened. I realized how being hopeful, patient, and prayerful, as mentioned in that verse, when does it happen? Well, we become those things, hopeful, patient, and prayerful, when things are not going well, when we need a brave heart. And I don't know if you've thought about this. Have you thought about how someone else's affliction can actually provide the glimpses we need of strength? It can turn around and strengthen all the others that are around these people who are going through the tough times. And those people, maybe it's ourselves even. We find ourselves asking, or they ask, why? Why? But why? Why me? Why now? And I just can't help but wonder if the answer is so much deeper than a simple one sentence, this is why. This is why it was you. This is why it's right now. I think it's much broader than that. And I don't think it's all about us. I think that the why can be because that person in the affliction is supposed to demonstrate hope and patience and prayerfulness, not just for herself in this time, but also for her to strengthen the hope and patience and prayerfulness in the others that are watching, the others around her. Here's what I do know. I know we need one another. We were made to be connected with one another. Family is not by accident. Community is meant to strengthen all of us. I have another friend who has been very open about her struggles with depression. And she has taught me that it's more than okay to share our struggles. In her sharing of her struggles, it can help normalize things and just some personal things that I'm going through right now, things that I questioned, were they abnormal? They certainly were frightening. And in her willingness to inspire me with her own struggles, her willingness to just be vulnerable and share how hard and dark things can get at times, has allowed me to have some peace in realizing, okay, if she could do it, I know we can do this too. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful today for the brave hearts that are in my life right now. And I just want to dedicate this podcast to all of those brave hearts. You know who you are. Those of you who have touched my life with your amazing stories, the difficulties that you've gone through and allowed me to come alongside you and hug you and love on you, but also watch you. I've watched you. I've watched you, and you amaze me. And I'm just so thankful for all you've taught me. I know that the brave hearts that continue to come into my life will teach and grow me. Now, I don't know right now in your current situation, maybe you are the brave heart. Are you going through a terrible affliction? I want you to know I don't need to know the details to be praying for you. I just want to encourage you to share that brave heart of yours. Maybe you know someone and you're watching right now or you're listening and you're thinking, oh my goodness, that's exactly who this person is in my life, a brave heart. And I am watching and I am learning from her or from him. I encourage you to take some time today, get quiet, journal, reflect on any ways that you have or could inspire others or have maybe been inspired. I want to challenge us to reach out to a brave heart today and to thank her or him for being exactly the person that we need in our lives. I send a huge, big virtual hug out to all the brave hearts, and I thank you for showing up as you do, because the world would not be the same without you. Right on.
Well, thanks so much for tuning in and listening this week. Hey, if this was something that you found valuable, don't forget you want to subscribe or follow so that every time a new episode is dropped, you'll be the first to know. And hey, before you go, if you are looking to get some of this academic writing under your belt and outsourced so that it's one less thing, freeing you up to enjoy more time with your family, hey, you're going to want to head over to writeonweb.com to see what kinds of resources and materials I have available for you. I will look forward to seeing you there, and I will look forward to seeing you here in our next episode. Right on.